The $2 powder that makes any soil grow forever. Your soil isn't dead, it's just starving. And what if I told you that for the price of a cup of coffee, you could turn tired, lifeless dirt into a self-sustaining, nutrient-rich powerhouse that keeps feeding your plants year after year? This isn't hype. It's ancient science rediscovered. Before we dig in, if you enjoy practical, results-driven gardening tips like this, please consider subscribing to Garden Success Tips so you never miss a method that actually works. The secret hidden in plain sight. Deep in the Amazon, long before modern fertilizers existed, entire civilizations farmed the same land for generations without exhausting it. While surrounding soils remained poor and depleted, their plots stayed dark, rich, and unbelievably productive. The secret was something now known as terra preta, or black earth. At the heart of it lies a simple material called biochar. Biochar is essentially charcoal made for soil, but not the kind you throw on a grill. This is a highly porous, carbon-rich substance created by heating organic matter like wood or crop waste in a low-oxygen environment. What makes it extraordinary is not just what it contains, but what it does once it enters your soil. Why biochar changes everything. Most soils lose nutrients because water washes them away, or plants use them faster than they can be replenished. Biochar acts like a permanent sponge buried underground. Its microscopic pores trap nutrients, water, and beneficial microbes, holding them exactly where plants need them. Instead of nutrients leaching out after every rain, they stay locked in place. Instead of soil drying out quickly, moisture lingers longer. And instead of relying on constant fertilizer inputs, your soil begins to build its own fertility system. This is why people call it the forever soil booster. Unlike compost, which breaks down over time, biochar remains stable for decades, even centuries. The simple formula that works, using biochar correctly, is honestly what separates success from disappointment. Raw biochar on its own can actually absorb nutrients temporarily, which is why it must be charged before application. Here's the exact method that works consistently. Take 1 kilogram of fine biochar and mix it thoroughly with 2 liters of compost or well-rotted manure and 1 liter of liquid nutrient source, such as compost tea or diluted urine, at a 1:10 ratio with water. Let this mixture sit for 7 to 10 days so the biochar absorbs nutrients and becomes biologically active. Once charged, apply 100 to 200 grams of this enriched biochar per square meter of soil. Work it into the top 10 to 15 centimeters of your garden bed. For potted plants, mix it at a rate of 10% of your total soil volume. Consistency matters. Do not increase or decrease these amounts randomly. This balance ensures the soil improves without disrupting existing nutrient cycles. What happens after you add it? Within weeks, you'll notice subtle changes. Soil becomes darker and more crumbly. Water doesn't pool or run off as quickly. Plants begin to show stronger growth, deeper green leaves, and improved resilience. Over months, the real transformation begins. Microbial life explodes. Earthworms are drawn in. Nutrient retention improves dramatically, and each growing cycle becomes easier than the last. After a year, many gardeners find they need far less fertilizer than before. The soil begins to feed itself. So why did modern agriculture just, ignore biochar? If biochar is so powerful, why isn't everyone using it? The answer is honestly surprisingly simple. It doesn't fit into a system built on repeat purchases. Synthetic fertilizers are designed for quick results, but, they require constant reapplication. Biochar, on the other hand, is more of a long-term investment. Once it's in your soil, it keeps working with minimal input. For large-scale commercial agriculture, which is really focused on short-term yield, that doesn't always align with profit models. But for home gardeners and small growers, it's a real game changer. So, making your own biochar at home, you don't actually need expensive equipment to get started. Biochar can be made using basic materials if you do it carefully. Just use dry organic matter like wood scraps, dried branches or crop residues. Burn them in a controlled environment with limited oxygen, such as a covered metal drum with small ventilation holes. The goal here is to char the material, not turn it into ash. Once the material turns black and lightweight, you'll want to extinguish it with water or cover it with soil to stop the burning process. Then crush it into small pieces, ideally no larger than 1 centimeter, before charging it using the method described earlier. And safety really matters here. Always control the fire and avoid inhaling smoke. Now let's talk about the long-term soil strategy. Biochar is not a replacement for good gardening practices. Honestly, it works best as part of a system. Combine it with compost, organic matter, and proper watering. Rotate your crops and avoid over-tilling as well. Think of biochar as the foundation that makes everything else more effective. Each season you add a little more, the soil improves further. Over time, you're not just growing plants, you're building a living ecosystem beneath your feet. There are, of course, some common mistakes to avoid. The biggest mistake is applying raw biochar directly into the soil without charging it. This can temporarily reduce nutrient availability and slow plant growth. Another mistake is over-application. More is not always better. Stick to the recommended 100 to 200 grams per square meter to maintain balance. And finally, avoid using biochar made from treated or painted wood. Only clean, natural materials should be used to ensure your soil remains safe and healthy. Why does this matter now more than ever? Well, soil degradation is one of the biggest challenges facing gardeners today. Repeated planting, chemical use, and erosion all take their toll. Biochar offers a way to rebuild soil instead of constantly fighting against it. It's simple, affordable, and proven across centuries. What ancient farmers discovered is now being validated by modern science. And it's available to anyone willing to give it a try. The takeaway for your garden is this. This isn't just another gardening trend. It's a shift in how you think about soil. Instead of feeding plants directly, you build a system that feeds them continuously. For a small investment and a bit of effort, you can create soil that holds nutrients, retains water, and supports life for years to come. That's the real power of this $2 powder. If you found this useful and want more practical, no-nonsense gardening strategies, make sure to subscribe to Garden Success Tips and share this with someone who wants better results from their soil.